Hey everyone, and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake, and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/talesfromretail, where people who work in retail tell us their best and craziest stories they had while on the job. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy some Reddit stories. Lady calls the police because she no longer likes her photos. So, some background. I used to work at a fairly popular photo studio that used to be inside a large box store, but wasn't actually owned by the box store, before they went out of business. The studio rarely offered full-time work outside of managers, but if you were willing to be a bouncer, then you could pick up more hours by bouncing between studios. I was a bouncer. This sometimes meant driving nearly 2 hours, passing 4 other big box stores before finally arriving at the one that I was working a particular day. Another thing I should add is that photo collections could run anywhere from $7.99 to $399.99 depending on how many prints you got or if you fancied yourself a canvas piece. The higher price collections, anything above $159.99, would buy you the copyrights to your photos as well as the digital files on a CD. Having the copyright allowed you to take your photos anywhere you liked, to have more prints made. We all still here? Awesome. I was working in a studio about 40 miles from where I lived, and it was the 4th time I had ever worked at this particular studio. I already loathed this studio. I had already dealt with a mum who chastised her deaf daughter for not smiling when I asked her to. Another story for another day. And a mum and adult daughter who would come in for a maternity style pictures but then became angry when I asked when the baby was due because no one was actually pregnant. Yeah, I'm still trying to pick up my jaw off the floor and it's been years. But this day, the craziest of them all, would make the other 2 sessions look like nothing. It comes a lady who I assumed were her parents or just 2 random old people who followed her around and only spoke Spanish. She had come in to finish paying for her photos and picked them up. Now, this was about 7 or 8 years ago, so I'm paraphrasing here. Crazy Mum is CM, and me is, well, me. Hi there, I'd like to pick up my photos. Oh, sure, your name? She gives me her name, and I flip through the drawer to find her photos. It's a thick envelope, so I already know she got one of the more expensive packages. Here they are. I open the envelope and carefully pull out the 20 or so prints of her little girl. Cute kid. Looks like she was an absolute ham for the camera. Someone else took the photos, not me. Aw, isn't she the cutest? How old is she? Oh my god, they turned out great. She's 4. I love that age. We all flip through the photos so that Mum can examine and approve. Her and the older man and woman with her are all cooing over them. How do they look, Mum? They are perfect. I love to hear it. Now, it looks like we have a remaining balance of $200. I'll need to get it before we can release them. Right. She pulls out her wallet and gives me the $200 in cash. I enter it into the computer, money goes into the till, we have a $0 balance. A happy mum, happy maybe grandparents, all is right in the world. Then, something in the ozone changes. The crazy mum, after looking through her pictures one more time, finding her CD of all her pictures, but still seems to be looking for something. When I talked to the lady in the photo center, she said I needed a paper with that said I owned the copyright. Where is that? A paper? Yeah, with the copyright. Now, I had only worked with the company for about a month. And honestly, no one had ever asked me this before, and no one had ever told me anything about needing a copyright release form. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know, but I can ask. I'm the only one in the studio, so I have to call my manager. I ask her about the copyright, and she lets me know that there's a PDF file on the CD that contains the release. Great, problem solved. My manager let me know that the release is actually on the CD, so when you take the CD into the photo center, it'll be right there. Can't you just print it out? I'm sorry, I don't actually have a printer for that. This location honestly didn't have one. Well, I don't believe you. I'm sorry? I don't believe you. I want the copyright. The copyright is on the CD, but unfortunately, I'm unable to print it without a printer. You can probably have it printed at the photo center when you have your extra prints printed. The crazy mum is quiet for a moment, and I think she's absorbing everything I've told her, and everything will be okay again. Wrong. I don't like these pictures. I want my money back. I'm sorry? I don't want these ugly pictures. Give me a refund. She shoves the envelope of photos back at me and folds her arms. Ma'am, unfortunately, we are unable to give refunds on photos. Yes, you can. Give me my money back. I really can't. All sales are final. Just open the register and give me my money. The money I just gave you. Once the money goes in, I'm unable to get it back. Refunds can only be processed by corporate. This was actually true. I later became a manager, and even then, I wasn't allowed to give refunds on photos. They never even taught me how to do it. I mean, honestly, what are we supposed to do? Sell your baby's pictures to someone else? You can't give me the money I just gave you. No, ma'am. I want to speak with your manager. Call her again. Sure thing, ma'am. I call my manager back and explain the situation. Manager M. Didn't you have her look at the pictures first before she paid? Yeah, and she approved them, but she wants a refund now. Do you want to speak with her? No, I don't. Just tell her to call corporate and we don't give refunds. Okay. I hang up. Why didn't you let me talk to her? I'm heated at this point because she's pretty much screaming at me and big box store customers checking out are staring. I'm shaking with anger, but I'm doing my best to continue my best customer service voice. Because she didn't want to speak with you. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we are unable to give refunds at the studio level. Only corporate can. If you don't give me my money back, I'm calling the cops. You're welcome to do that, ma'am, but there's nothing else that I can do but give you your photos. I don't want those, I want a refund. She slams her hand down on the counter and I step back. Pretty sure this lady is going to hit me. I'm sorry, but there's nothing else that I can do. Fine, I'm calling the police and I'm suing you. I'll get you fired. Honestly, why did they say all this? Why do they all think that they have the authority to get anyone fired? Oh no, a customer is unhappy. Better fire the employee that they abused. At this point, she walks away from the studio and into the store, while apparently calling the police on her phone. I don't know if she was pretending to try and scare me, or if dispatch just told her to stop being a lunatic, because no cops ever came. I take this opportunity to get some water and call my manager to let her know what's going on. She's really calling the cops? I guess. What's her problem again? She liked the pictures, paid the $200 she owed for them, then asked about the release form, wanted me to print it. I told her we didn't have a printer. That studio doesn't have one? No, we should probably get one after this. But after I told her we didn't have one, all of a sudden she wanted a refund and said the pictures were ugly. Manager kind of sighs. Ah, what a crazy woman. Hey, while I have you on the phone, I want to ask you about entering our manager in training program. The nearby studio manager is quitting, and I would like you to take her place. I'm startled. Oh, absolutely. I'd love that. Great. Call me back if the psycho comes back or the cops come. They never did, and the lady never even took her pictures that she paid for. I wonder what happened to the grandparents, because they were talking about it was the crazy woman and then her parents, I presume. Were they just standing there like really confused, or did they leave or something? I really want to know what happened to them. She really smelled bad. When I was in college, I worked part-time at a do-it-yourself floor covering store. This store was owned by a really great guy and it was staffed by him, his 2 sons, 2 other guys and myself. We sold carpeting, tile, vinyl floor covering, etc. I was originally hired as a stock boy and that was my primary function, but when it got busy, it was all hands on deck for sales. They had a policy that if I thought I wasn't going to close the sale, I was to turn it over to one of the sons or the old man. He was actually only in his 40s. One busy day, a lady comes in and I went up to help her. I was immediately hit with some of the worst BO I have ever experienced in my life. I mean, it made my eyes water, and I was actually getting dizzy from her strong, pungent smell. I excused myself, claiming I thought we might have some items she was interested in that hadn't been placed on the floor yet, and went into the back storeroom to find some help. I found the owner's oldest son, who laughed at me and said he'd handle it. A few minutes later, he came back into the storage area, gasping for air. He turned it over to his younger brother, and he didn't last any longer. Finally, the old man said he'd handled it and proceeded to work with this lady for over an hour and a half. He sells her a ton of stuff. She owned several properties she was fixing up. After he finishes the sale and she left, we asked him how the hell could he stand the stench. His reply was, "Boys, all I smelled was her money." That man was one of the greatest mentors in my life. That guy sounds like a really cool dude to have as like a manager or owner. But the one thing I hate is that you can't really like tell strangers, "Oh, you smell bad," because that's really offensive. But some people don't even notice that they smell bad because it becomes like such a habit or like mental illness or some kind of stuff like that. But I wish you could just tell people and it not be rude, because I'm sure people would appreciate it. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching and I will see you very soon.